All right, so the U.S. deploying this anti-missile system to Israel, trying to counter more possible strikes from Iran. Also, 100 U.S. troops headed to Israel to operate it. Actually, the first time U.S. forces deploy to Israel since October 7th. So let's take a look at the new system itself. Again, the acronym is THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. You see it here on the screen here, the range 124 miles. It intercepts missiles inside and outside the atmosphere, can coordinate with other defense systems. Of course, Israel has a number of other defense systems, which we can get into. The fact that it's mobile, can be deployed worldwide, and it defends population centers and infrastructure. There's a lot to it there. It uses this hit-to-kill technology against enemy missiles, so it explodes on impact, and the battery can cooperate with those other systems, including, obviously, the Iron Dome. Here's Pentagon Press Secretary, the Major General Pat Ryder, and what he said about it. This action underscores the United States' ironclad commitment to the defense of Israel and to defend Americans in Israel from any further ballistic missile attacks by Iran. Let's bring Glenn Ignazio in on this, retired Air Force Special Operations Commander. And thank you, Glenn, for joining us. As always, your thoughts on this move from the Biden administration, 100 troops and this THAAD system.
Yeah, great to see you, Connell. Yeah, it's a great system. I worked on it with Lockheed some years ago. And so it is mobile. It is really, really complex, but it is something that can hit these ballistic missiles, as you mentioned, inside and outside the atmosphere. So that is a quite significant defense against the systems such as Iran has been launching. So that's a great thing. And I believe that brings an incredible level of security to Israel. I believe that's one of the tenets. The other thing is it does put 96 U.S. troops on the ground. And of course, this defensive system could be a target. That may be another sort of intimidating or at least deterrent factor for Iran trying to attack Israel. So this might be more than just a defensive system. It may be some geopolitical influence to make sure that Iran doesn't attack America and drag us into it.
Interesting. We see THAAD in action there. And back on the tablet, I have what I just showed you, which is the way it works and the range and all the specifications and what have you. Can you do a compare and contrast? I talked about how it works with other systems, like we've talked about Iron Dome, and here's Iron Dome explained, and how they kind of work together and how, you know, vulnerable or not vulnerable Israel is at this point. I did read earlier they're still having some issues with drones. You know, that's tough to defend against.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the way the system, that THAAD works, is this actually is an upper echelon. It uses a radar system to be able to track these targets and then picks which missile is the best to intercept. That missile then launches, a shroud comes off, and there's an infrared seeker that finds the target and actually goes to hit it. The interesting part about it is this is not explosive. This is a kinetic kill device. So it just impacts that missile system and vaporizes it. So it takes itself out to take out the threat. And it does work in consideration with all the other radar systems and integrated command and control to work with the PAC system, PAC-3, or the David Sling, or the Iron Dome. So those take care of the missiles and rockets very well. However, you are tapping onto the right threat, which is the drones. These drones are very small, and their radar cross-section, or what they show up on radar, are very tiny, almost the size of a bird. So they tune these things to not detect birds, but you would if you had to detune those to try to detect these drones. I hope I explained that well enough. So that's why some of these drones are able to get in. And that is the dangerous part that not just we face, but Ukraine, the United States, everybody is working on this particular problem.
Yeah, because we saw those drones getting in. I was wondering about that in northern Israel, and I was saying that's just tough for them. The alerts didn't go off, and it is tougher to defend yourself against that. Final point, Glenn. We were talking about this last hour, how the missile attack, a ballistic missile attack from Iran was a couple weeks ago, right? It was on the 1st of the month. And we haven't seen the response yet. Do you think this deployment of THAAD has something to do with that, or unrelated? And why do you think the delay, if it is a delay, has been here for a couple of weeks? We haven't seen anything from Israel.
So let's take a look at two sides. Okay, whatever targets they may be looking at, say it was the nuclear capabilities or the oil, I think it'd still be more nuclear. That's going to take a tremendous amount of planning, targeting, looking at the threats, the missile threats, and a lot of planning that would go into it. So that's one. The second thing is what are we going to see with the United States? And I believe that this is one of the plays is that, hey, we're going to give you this defensive system that will even more bolster your defense's capability against ballistic missiles and others from the area. But at the same time, by having the U.S. troops, you know, we have some there in support right now, but to have actual U.S. troops operating in Israel, this would be a main target to take out. if they were to damage and or maim, kill any U.S. troops on the ground, it brings the United States into the consideration to attacking Iran. So that may be some of the negotiating tactics that are going on, but the delays are also because of mission planning that would be taken in consideration. So there's two sides to it.
All right, well explained, Major Glenn Ignazio. Thank you, sir, as always.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.